We turn to our next story now, and the Federal Agency for Protecting Workers' Civil Rights has revealed that it is investigating sportswear giant Nike for allegedly discriminating against white employees through its diversity policies. The Equal Employment Opportunity Commission disclosed the investigation in a motion filed in a Missouri federal court demanding that Nike fully comply with a subpoena for information. According to court documents, the EEOC sought the company's criteria for selecting employees for layoffs, how it tracks and uses worker race and ethnicity data, and information about programs which allegedly provided race-restricted mentoring, leadership, or career development opportunities. In a statement, Nike said the company has worked to cooperate. The EEOC and the subpoena feels like a surprising and unusual escalation. Joining us now on this is Rashmi Samant, an author and human rights activist and former SU president of Oxford University. Thank you very much for joining us live from New Delhi. It's a pleasure to have you here on NewsX World. A US employment law formally prohibits discrimination on the basis of race, regardless of which group is affected. Legally speaking, where is the line between a lawful diversity initiative and an unlawful race-based discrimination?
Well, I think currently it's very unfortunate that the entire movement for equality is turning into a demand for equity that's turning into a sort of reverse discrimination against certain groups. Not just the white community living in United States, but also the Hindu community in United States who have exceptionally good attainment rates when it comes to education, when it comes to employment opportunities. Somehow meritocratic success is looked down upon, and these avenues of reverse discrimination is increasingly encouraged within systems, and it's systematically enabled, it's overseen in a way that there is no meritocratic progress. I think that's extremely dangerous. As a society, we do need to strive to be equal, to give equal opportunities to all, to ensure there's no discrimination. But this kind of reverse discrimination is just reinventing the wheel. And I think as a society, we need to collectively call this out, because very often than not, reverse discrimination is seen as some sort of historical retribution. But I think that's unfair. It's really unfair to look at things like that. I feel that even my community is somewhere in America a prey to this kind of reverse discrimination that usually happens, because as an immigrant community, it's extremely successful. But to hold it against them, I think it's very wrong. I think organizations should uphold equality to the letter, because this is just reinventing the wheel, and it's never ending, right?
And Rashmi, DEI, of course, has become particularly a polarizing issue in the United States, and particularly, of course, under Donald Trump. To what extent is this investigation a neutral application of civil rights law, and to what extent does it reflect changing political winds?
Well, I think it absolutely does reflect political changing winds, because if not for Trump's administration, I don't think an issue like this would come up. Definitely, I think justice in our society is driven by pressure groups, by political motivated enterprise. There's nothing that's politically neutral, and that's very sad, because another government will come to power and we will have a new set of problems getting attention. But problems are problems end of the day, and you need to treat them as such. But that doesn't happen in our society. People, pressure groups are the ones that get away with justice, that can seek even justice in society. Parties which are in power, unfortunately, dictate the ideology which is sort of motivating a particular pursuit of justice out there in society. And I think that's very unfortunate. and these cycles just repeat over and over. And you can see extremes in the way that justice is delivered in either governments, when you have a party come to power and another party take over after that. And I think that's very, very unfortunate. As a government, certain fundamental values when it comes to equality need to be upheld irrespective of ideology, and that's becoming increasingly scarce in the sort of polar world that we're living in.
Rashmi, thank you so much for taking the time and joining us here on NewsX World. It's a pleasure to get your insight on these issues. We now move on, and Amazon is planning to use artificial intelligence to